After completing the first double of the save in the last episode, there's a fair bit of transfer activity to get through today before we look to kick our third season off on the right foot with our first game in the Northern Premier League Division 1 Midlands campaign. It's quite a name. Let's get into it. So we're starting this new season off with our season expectations, and the board wants us to reach the playoffs. This could be quite a tough challenge, to be honest, because I really have no idea how we're going to match up against these teams. And we're going to be going into the FA Cup again. They only want us to reach the first round, which seems a little crazy, but we're not getting much of a benefit of going any higher than that, so I think I'm just going to leave it there. After winning the FA Vars last season, we're now going into the FA Trophy. Again, not a whole lot of point in raising this. We've still got more than enough wage budget and our transfer budget. I don't really want to be paying money for players anyway. But we're now also going into the Integro League Cup. What is the Integro League Cup? I have never heard of this in my life. How many rounds are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's not a huge tournament. It looks like we've got our sights set on a quadruple this season. I mean, the FA Cup's definitely a write-off. The FA Trophy's going to be a write-off, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure that's National League teams going into that. So Integro League Cup was last year was won by Radcliffe, so it's just the regional leagues, first and Premier Division, I assume, looking at it. The teams going into it, yeah, the Premier Division teams. So, it's going to be quite a tough competition, but we might be able to make a good showing in it. Hopefully we don't go out in the first round at the very least. So, speaking of that promotion push, how are we expected to do in the league? Oh, okay, that's a hell of a lot higher than I expected. Yeah, we're apparently the third best team in the division. Ratchford is already in the team of the year. Oh, we've got Brian Brady there who turned us down. Who else here has turned us down? Is that... No, Wealth de Silva. What a fantastic name. No, I don't know that person. No, the only person I know here is Ratchford. Tommy Jackson is also the second best keeper in the league, I would take this as. So, we're looking pretty decent here, actually. Although, looking at the squad, we are still... I've offered Jack Wilson a new contract just because I want the depth and I've got the wage budget to spare. Metcalf's retiring. Kanina is definitely going. I've got him back onto my good side, but he's still unhappy at the club and he's still refusing to sign a contract and it runs out in 6 days. So I've offered him out to try and get £1,000 for him. And Matt Ball, I would probably keep Matt Ball for the season quite happily, but he's demanding £200+ a week. And for probably my third or fourth choice midfielder, I mean, there's no way he's the second best midfielder. I'd choose Demetrius Rami over him any day, and I'd probably put Reece Oliver and Matt Ball on a similar level. But Reece Oliver's obviously got a bit of potential. So, yeah, Matt Ball's going to be out the door as well. And I'm really struggling to find players to replace a lot of these people. So this could be quite a tough off-season. But yeah, back to the original point. We're going to confirm these. And another signing that we have made, Peter Crouch has signed for us. And he's joined as a director of football, which, to be honest, I'd rather have him as a player, even if he's 43 years old. But I saw his name pop up and I thought £6 a week. It's honestly worth it just to be able to put him in the thumbnail. A few new contracts to go over. Cameron Moncrief, I've given him another year at the club. I have had to put him up to £95 a week, but his contract was running out at the end of this season, and I'd really like to keep him around. So I've upped his wage to make sure we've got him for another year after that. The rest of his bonuses are generally a bit lower. There's a few that are still really behind, like he's probably going to get 30 goals in the season, which he's probably going to get at £300. The loyalty bonus is quite high. The rest of it, I think, is generally lower. So I think that's overall a good decision. Waldo, we've given him an extra year as well. He was going to be running at the end of the season. He's up to £65 a week now, which is pretty indicative of just the higher wages we're having to give. Now we've gone up 2 divisions. And we've also got Wilson, who's on £40 a week now to give him this season. His contract was basically running out in tomorrow, actually, looking at it. He was one of those players. So I've just kept him around for this year. He doesn't play a whole lot. I think he got probably about 15, 20 appearances. Yeah, 15 appearances last season. Not a bad guess there. He's a very good backup and he's got pretty good speed. So he's quite a good person to bring in late in the game. Just wish his crossing was a little bit better, to be honest. And then on the outs, Scott Metcalf has retired, which is not really a big shock. He's turned into a not very good coach, like not even good by our standards, so he must be pretty bad. He did a decent job while he was here, but it's not a big deal that he's going particularly. Just a quick overview of how we are looking across the team this season before we can really bring anyone in. We've got our 2 goalkeepers at the back. We could definitely do more centre-backs because we've basically only got Button Forshaw and Regan who can play centre-back. And at the moment, Regan is probably going to be our ball-winning midfielder. So we're going to need a cover in probably both of these two positions. We can't have Regan being that important in both of them, basically. Right back, Barrett and Howe, I think they can do a job. If we do get someone very good who becomes valuable, obviously I'll go for it. There's not many places in this team where I wouldn't buy someone if someone exceptional came up. One of those positions that we're probably not going to be looking to get rid of anyone in. One of those positions that we're probably not going to be looking for a replacement in any sort of capacity would be Cade Ratchford at deep line playmaker. We might switch that to an advanced playmaker this season at times because I do think like sometimes, even though we've comfortably scored the most goals each season, there are some games that we seem to really struggle to create chances, so pushing an extra person a bit further forward might help. The other position is going to be rotated mostly between Rami and Oliver. We have also got Regan who could play centre mid, but he's at that point he's covering three positions and that's going to be quite a problem. Peter Ladati shouldn't actually be on that list because he is not with the club until the end of this season and is still a child. We're then probably going to be playing Rule on the left with Shiloh Waldo as a backup, S on the right, with probably Wilson as a backup, but I don't mind playing Rule there if the formation requires it. If a good winger come up, I would definitely be interested, but I do think both of these can do the job completely fine for now. And Moncrief up front with Luciqueno and Morton as backups. Striker, we are pretty much set. If we got someone else come up who was amazing, I would happily take them on, of course. Maybe even go to a 2 up front, depending on the match, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Until then, I think we're very good in a few positions, but we definitely need some reinforcements in others. Centre-backs are proving incredibly hard to find. And I have actually got 2 offers in for 2 centre-backs at the moment, and I think they'll both be joining, but to be honest, considering our wage structure, would have put them like, £20 to £30 a couple of years ago, and I feel like they'd have been a good fit then. They're probably not going to be more than a backup at this point otherwise. We've got Darryl Powell, who is completely fine. He's only 5'9", but 10 heading, 9 marking, 9 tackling. He's okay mentals and okay physicals. He's not exceptional absolutely anywhere. And I definitely am not sure if I'm happy paying him £65 a week. But I've honestly looked through probably 100 centre-backs at this point, and this is one of the better options of the people that don't want like 200 plus to come to us. And then we've also got Callum Adebayi, who, 11 tackling, 11 marking, 7 heading. He's got better mentals. He's quite fit and got stamina. He's got a bit more height to him. He's not brilliant, but again, it's kind of finding the best of a bad bunch. Not being able to keep Kanina has really hampered me. And one new contract actually has just come through. Romain S has signed for another full year after this one. He's gone up to £65 a week. I believe he was on 45 or 50 before this. So it's a bit of a pay rise, but it's not the end of the world. But to guarantee we've got what is currently our first choice right winger at the moment for next season is always going to be a good thing. And it looks like Callum Adebayi is going to be signing for us. He's definitely the best out of the 2 people we were looking at, so I think it's going to be fine. Like I said, £50 a week's a bit more than I wanted to spend, but I think he could definitely do more than good enough of a job for us. I just wish he was either a bit stronger or a bit faster. But yeah, we need that depth. A load of people's contracts are expiring tomorrow, that both within the club and everywhere else. I'm hoping we can pick up some deals after that point, because I've been looking through what's on the market at the moment, and it's just been pretty terrible for absolutely everything. I have got offers in on a number of players, quite a few. These are all staff at the bottom, but still. Quite a number of defenders, a midfielder and a striker. There's quite a lot of wages being offered out. I don't want to spend lots of time going through them until we know that we're going to be able to get them. So yeah, we'll just have to see if we manage to get any of them. And see, Rami's happy to stay at the club now. It didn't take him long to get over that problem, which is quite surprising. He only kicked off about it about 2 weeks ago, and now he's completely over it. So out of all the people we've tried to sign, and I think if I look in transfers, a lot of those names that you saw before have disappeared. All the staff signed, but pretty much no one else did. Absolutely no one else did, because the first one that we've actually had accept is Ephraim Yeboah here. Now, he was the one that I thought we needed least out of all of them. £8 a week. He is basically like a mini Moncrief. If I compare him and can't do that properly. Compare him and Cameron Moncrief, you can definitely see the differences here. They are very similar. If anything, Yeboah is better. Moncrief's obviously got him slightly beaten on speed and mentals, defending, but that's not really a 1 versus a 2 is not really that relevant. But everywhere else, Yeboah's actually okay in the air. He's good technically. They're as good as each other attacking wise. If I look at attributes, you see like Moncrief's got him beaten on a few key stats, like dribbling and finishing. But first touch is much better. He's actually got some strength compared to Moncrief's 2. So I feel like this means that this season I'm probably going to go 2 up front. Also, just to compare him to Lusaqueno, he's just an upgraded version of Lusaqueno, basically. Like I was thinking I'd go maybe Moncrief and Lusaqueno up front this season, but like there's just nothing apart from Lusaqueno's vision is very slightly better. Yeboah is as good, if not better, at just about everything. And the fact that he's willing to join us on a breakthrough prospect contract makes me think it's probably worth doing, because he's not going to be doing because if it doesn't work out and he's not really performing, he's not going to be kicking off that he's not playing enough. So yeah, I think even though it's £80 a week, it's a decent size money. It's a decent amount of money. He has got a 1-year contract extension if we get promoted, but I think I'm going to go for it. So I've delayed it twice, but I think I am actually going to accept Daryl Powell joining the team. I think he's more than good enough. Like he's not the standout defender that I was actually after, really. Like I think I just keep looking at the fact that he's quite short for a centre back. But like if I compare him to Button Forshaw, who I would class as my best defender, I mean, there's not really anything in it. If anything, Powell is probably a little bit better. He's just a little worse in the air and a little worse technically. Much better vision, much better speed, slightly better mentals. Attributes, there's not that much in it. And if anything, Powell edges the attributes overall, even though some of them aren't quite as important. But I think for £65 a week, needing a centre-back like we do, he's just going to be well worth it. We have been finding some kind of nutty centre midfielders as well that are willing to join. People like Dylan Helliwell, who, he is pretty good in all of the right places, to be honest. Good first touch. Tackling, yeah, it's useful. 11 passing, decent work rate, decent vision, decision determination, good stamina, good pace, acceleration. He could definitely do a job. Ollie Gofford is not quite as good, I would say. He's good in a lot of the same places. Very good passing, very good work rate, okay tackling, vision, and so on. And again, quite fast, good balance, good jumping reach. I think if we get either of those, that would definitely be a nice improvement to our team. We've also got Max Ezzard that might be joining us on loan. He's not as good, I don't think, as some of the other people we've looked to sign. And that mostly comes down to the fact that he's just, like, he's not really got any acceleration, not really got any strength. But, 6'2", good natural fitness, decent jumping reach, good first touch, and he's got some very good mentals. And the fact that we're potentially getting him on a season-long loan without paying any wages or any monthly fees, I think it's only going to be a benefit for the team, realistically. And yeah, Dylan Helliwell has decided to join the club. So he's going to be joining us probably in a Mazzala role. But, he can also play box-to-box centre midfielder. We've got a few options with him. And overall, I just think he'll be a good addition to our midfield. If we compare him to someone like Rami, it's probably the best comparison. Yeah, he's just comfortably better in all areas that aren't attacking based generally. So I think he could do a really good job for us. If we compare him to Oliver, who's probably slightly worse than Rami, he's just a better version of Oliver in every regard. Like, looking at the comparison, that's kind of ridiculous. And I mean, he's joining on a lot more money, but a 2-year contract, £90 a week, I think we can definitely get our money's worth out of him. And with Helliwell joining, I am actually going to release Matt Ball. He's been sticking with us on a month-to-month contract, but, if I compare the two, Dylan Helliwell, I'm assuming he's just going to be better in pretty much every regard, yeah. Matt Ball's a little bit better going forward, but with that, if we're going 2 up front, or even if we're not, we've got 2 very good striking options up front. And with Cade Ratchford playing playmaker for us, I just don't think we're going to need Matt Ball all that much. So, release on a free. Off you go, Matt. Thank you for your service. And yeah, we've also got Matt Ezzard joining us on loan for the season. I mean, it does give us another centre midfielder, which I'm thinking we're going to get at least one more centre midfielder in, hopefully Ollie Gofford, although he could also play centre-back to a degree. He could at least be recover there. But Max Ezzard, completely free. Why not? Oh, and we've got the draw for the Integro League Cup first round today as well. Let's see who we get. I'm not even entirely sure who's going into this. I think it's just all the first, all the first division teams in northeast, southwest. It's probably an easier way of saying it. We're just going to draw all because 36 is quite a few to get through. And we're going to be going up against Galston, who are in the Northern Premier League Division 1 East. So yeah, don't really know much about them. Frederick Ibrahim is their star man. Doesn't look very good, to be honest. So hopefully we can get through this first round without too many issues. Oh, and another centre midfielder comes through our doors. So Ollie Gofford has actually accepted to join us. He had a couple of other offers in over the course of the transfer dealings. I think only the AFC Tottenham offer lasted until the very end. He did reject quite a few earlier on. But yeah, I mean, Ollie Gofford, I'm definitely accepting him. He does look very good, and he could be a fantastic option for us. It does probably mean Reece Oliver's going to be falling out of contention, but I've got a couple of different formation variations we can go with. Obviously, we've got this one. Moncrief wouldn't be playing there, obviously. But we've got this one that we've been playing with for quite a while. We've got our second option, which is basically moving the defensive midfielder up into a central midfielder. And then we've got more than enough good players to cover that now if that ends up being required. And we've got the 4-2-2-2 option, essentially. So we've got plenty of options and plenty of players to cover those options, I would say. The only thing I would really like to do, I mean, I know I've got a few centre-backs that have come in, but I'd really like someone else at the back that I can really rely on. And I might have found them already, but at this point I'm not super thrilled. I think we've got a good selection of players. We haven't got any great options. And with those two most recent signings, we are actually now the second favourites to win the league. So I definitely feel like they've improved us quite a lot. Ollie Gofford's gone straight in to the team of the division, and he's actually gone in as a centre-back. So look, I haven't really thought about him too much as a centre-back, but if I compare him to like Button Forshaw, for instance... Oh... And look, I knew he could play decent. But in that case, maybe we don't need another centre-back. Because we've got a centre-back here that can basically play as like an advanced playmaker. We could even probably put him as a ball-playing defender, maybe. I mean, he hasn't got any stats that would be a particular problem for it. The thing that makes me not want to do it is he's got 6 heading. But we've got players that have got away with that sort of level of ability and have still been very good for us. So... Well, I might give him a run out in a couple of the early league games at centre-back and see how he goes. Because if he can play centre-back and can play it very well as maybe a ball-playing defender, that would be absolutely incredible for us. Okay, so this is definitely the most important draw we're going to get out of the early competitions. Our first FA Cup round is going to be decided today. 416 teams, so we're not going to automatic draw them, obviously. And, we are getting St. Pantalemon. Whoever they are, St. Pantalemon, yeah, that's what they're called. They are in the Combined Counties League Premier North. That's the league that we've just got out of. I recognise a couple of people from there because I think we had someone leave us for Ascot. But yeah, that is the tier below us. Their star man is Jordan Rowles, who is not terrible, but it definitely shouldn't be a problem for our striker or strikers to absolutely destroy him and give him the worst afternoon of his life. So we're probably not even going to do that game on camera because I feel like that's going to be a very comfortable win. This is a little bit annoying. I mean, I know he's not incredible, but I was actually looking at Oscar Darba. And I offered him a contract. He was at Leeds, and he refused to sign for me for anything less than like £200 a week. So I just backed out. And now he's gone to Redcar Athletic for £45 a week. They are in the division below me. Oh, God. I mean, I might have dodged a bullet because, like I said, he's not fantastic. But yeah, I was scouting him and he's got incredible potential. Whether anything ever comes of that, I don't know. But yeah, we sort of been screwed a bit there. So there was a slight change of plan. I got a little bit too cocky. I decided to just do the Integro League Cup game straight off the bat. And there's good news and there's bad news. But the good news is that we won quite comfortably, 4-2. It was a lot closer for a lot of the match than I would have liked it to be, though. I mean, you can see from here, it was very eventful. We had a hell of a lot of pressure. It took us to our third time of getting the ball in the net for it to actually count. And then they just kept coming back. But then at the end, we closed it out. So if we watch the goals, but I will go to each of the disallowed goals first as well. I think it was... Is it here? Rule got it in, yeah. Moncrief popped it in, deemed to be offside, which was not ideal. And then it wasn't too long after. Barrel, Powell, long ball up, ball dropped to Sequedo, but he was comfortably offside, so it was not a huge surprise there. But then it was only a minute or two later. Barrel got the ball to Ratchford, long ball, Moncrief beats the back line and just slots it straight in. Absolutely beautiful little play. and kind of what we've come to expect. But then just before half-time, they had a very similar goal, just beat our back line, and Finch slotted it past Harry Kant in goal. Second half, we came out the blocks relatively quickly. Moncrief coming down the wing, got the ball into Lusaqueno, and keeper does get a hand to it, but it's a relatively good finish. Then once again, they came back into it. Nicholas put the ball through to Webb, who crossed it in. Finch, unmarked in the middle, beats Harry Kant. At this point, I was starting to stress a little bit, but in the 83rd minute, Rule falls to Yeboah, just turns and finishes. Oh no, he come off the post and then he finished it, and that's where Moncrief got injured, obviously. And Waldo then put through Yeboah, and he tries to cross it. It takes a little deflection, but still falls to Rami, and managed to put it in the back of the net to secure the victory in the 89th minute. So yeah, Kemal Moncrief has taken a knock there. It's a little bit frustrating. I did also get the achievement for the first time I've ever had over 5 XG in a game, which is absolutely insane. 5.6 XG, and we come away with 4 goals. So it's mad to have a 5.6 XG and feel a little hard done by that we only scored 4. So yeah, Kemal Moncrief is injured and he's looking to be out for 5 to 6 weeks. So it's actually such a good idea that I sign Yeboah so that he can actually lead our line for now, I suppose. He scored on a debut and got man of the match. So yeah, fantastic performance. I am going to go and do the St Pantilimon game, and then we are going to start the season with Bishop's Cleeve. And actually, with all the midfielders we have signed, Reece Oliver is going to be heading out on loan for the season. I'm not sure he's going to play for us again, but he was kicking off that he was falling down the pecking order, and I just figured it was probably easier to let him go somewhere for a bit. I was trying to sell him for a bit of money. No one would offer anything for him at all. So rather than him just rot, not even on the subs bench for us, we decided to let him go. And now we've got the second round draw for the Integra League Cup. So let's just do a draw roll again. We've got the Northern Premier teams coming in this time as well. And we're going to come up against Morpeth, who are one of them. So let's go and see who Morpeth are. So Morpeth are, obviously, they haven't played a league game yet. Where are they due to finish in that league? Because that might tell us plenty. They've only just been relegated to that league, but they are looking like they're going to be relegation candidates again. So that does fill me with a little bit of hope. Luke Summerfield is their key player, and he's actually pretty good, isn't he? Like, looking at him, I wouldn't mind having him on our team, quite frankly. Oh, £400 a week, though. I'm not fucking doing that. And the St Pantilimon game has gone completely fine as well. 4-0 victory. Yeboah with 2, Lusaqueno and S with 1 each. Let's just watch the goals. First off, ball gets put through to Yeboah, walks straight around the keeper, slots it in the net. Then S puts Yeboah through. This comes back to S, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a fantastic finish into the top left corner. Then Button Forshaw gets the ball to S. He puts it all the way over to Rule. Manages to find Lusaqueno in the middle, slots it in at the near post. And then lastly, Button Forshaw gets the ball up. Yeboah gets on the end of it. Does get tackled, but he still managed to slot it cleanly into the bottom left corner past the keeper. So overall, a very comfortable game, to be honest. They didn't really create much at all, and as expected, walked straight through the round. It looks like we're up against Market Drayton Town. A bit weird. We've definitely played Market Drayton before. They're in the same league as us last season, of course. So Market Drayton Town's star player is George Scott, their goalkeeper, who's fine. Let's compare him to Jackson just for comparison's sake. Let's compare him to Kant, actually. Yeah, he's about the same as Kant, maybe a little better at something, a little better at some things, a little worse at other things. There's not much comparison in it overall, I would say. Kant's probably slightly got the edge. But yeah, I'm not really too worried about them either. So it's finally time for our first game of the season. We're coming up against Bishop's Cleeve, who are, let me just check the season preview. They're not expected to do well. They're down in 16th expected for the season. So I'm not super worried, but we always do first game of the season, so I couldn't really not do it. Also, I did notice we've got 4 players in the Media Dream 11. We've got Tommy Jackson, Ollie Gofford, Dylan Halliwell, yeah, I've already forgot his first name, and Cade Ratchford. So our centre midfield, our 3 midfielders realistically, but we're playing Gofford at the back as a ball-playing defender, so it makes sense that he would be back there on that. But yeah, so we've obviously got a very good team, and pretty much everyone else, I believe all the yellow ones you see here, Sears, Wilder, Obadei and Story, are all from Harborough, who are supposedly the best team in the division. So it seems like we've got our rivals for the season pretty well laid out. And I think this is how we're going to be lining up. We're going to be in our more offensive formation just because Bishop's Cleeve aren't the best of teams from the look of it. We've got Jackson at the back, Barrel, Gofford, Button-Forshaw and Barrett in defence. Obviously, Gofford playing as a ball-playing obviously with Gofford playing as a ball-playing defender, because he's pretty damn good at it. Got Ratchford playing an advanced playmaker position. I don't know whether to switch that when we've got two up front. And then we've got Helliwell playing as a box-to-box midfielder. So we are trying out a couple of new roles here. I don't know how it's going to go. I think maybe if this doesn't go as to plan, I might switch Ratchford back into more of his deep line role that he's been playing so well for us. Then we've got Waldo on the left, S on the right, and Lusaqueno and Jiboa up front. Obviously, Lusaqueno stepping in for Moncrief after his relatively serious injury. He could be away for another 4 weeks, so we'll have to see how he gets on with that. We've got plenty of defensive options on the bench. We've got Matt Regan, Darryl Powell, Callum Adebayi, Demetrius Rami, and Jack Wilson. We don't have a striker on the bench, but I feel like if one of these ended up getting injured or needed to come off, we'd probably just switch to formation. We've got midfield options. I mean, Waldo can play up front if it really does come to that, if we're desperate for a goal. But we'll just have to see how we get on and play it by ear. Bishop's Cleeve are lining up in a 4-2-3-1. Don't really know who their dangerous players are. We're just going to have to find out in-game. We're in a completely new formation, not our standard 4-3-3 for the first time in a video. We've got Jackson with a goal kick. Gets it out to Waldo. Wins the header. Barrel looks for a pass. Okay, Gofford looks for a pass. Can he find something good? No, Helliwell. That works still. Long ball over. Lusaqueno's getting on the end of this. Can he find Jiboa in the middle, maybe? No, it looks like he's going to have to pass this out. Waldo gets on it. Puts it into Helliwell. Is he going to shoot? No. Ratchford. Barrett. They're definitely closing us down quite well, but Barrett's found a lot of space and just spanned a shot wide. That's unfortunate. Okay, Bishop's Cleeve free kick now. Stars steps over it. A little bit nervous what's going to happen here. It's a really good curling effort, but it goes slightly over the bar. Tommy Jackson probably wouldn't have got to it, so let's be quite thankful he missed. Right now, Barrett with a throw-in. Comes to Yeboah. Barrett again. But unfortunately, Gofford working away across the pitch, and then as soon as I say it, we switch again. No, okay. Oh, Ratchford, I thought he'd got this through to Waldo. Well, ends up with the goalkeeper. He passes it straight up to their striker. It's Rankin. Okay, Lusaqueno. Long ball over. Can Yeboah get on the end of that? He's quite fast, Yeboah, but not fast enough to beat that defender with enough of a head start. Helliwell, Ratchford. We definitely seem to have been all over them so far. Barrel with a long ball over. Yeboah. Oh, and was that Yeboah still? Yeah. I thought he'd hit that off Lusaqueno's head then for some reason. That was a very odd finish. Let me see exactly what happened there. So, Gofford to Barrel. It was a brilliant pass over from him. There's a bit of confusion who was going for it. Yeboah takes a touch, sort of warps through Lusaqueno's body, and then hits it in with the outside of his foot. I mean, it was... it's potential offside, but... Oh, was that offside? I feel like that looked offside to me from the replay, but apparently not. I'm not going to complain about it. Right, Button-Forshaw with a throw-in. Can we add a second? Maybe not. He gets tackled straight away. Long ball up from them, but there's no one there to get it. Josh Barrett running forward now. Big ball up to Lusaqueno, but he can't get on the end of it. Waddington. Okay, this could be a good chance for them. Rankin just watch the run in the middle. If someone actually stays with a striker, that would be nice. Hardacre with a long cross in. And Tommy Jackson picks it up, and I thought he was going to walk straight over the line with it then for a second. That was terrifying, and purely for the reputation that precedes Tommy Jackson. Okay, so they definitely came back into it quite heavily with that chance. But apart from that, didn't really do a whole lot. We've had a lot of little chances. We're definitely better all over the pitch, I feel like. Things are going well. You're capable of better. You weren't bad, but you can still improve. And you know what? No, I'm going to go for the strikers. No, the defenders. Never mind. Do we need to make any changes? Matty Lusaqueno's not really done anything. but I don't think that's indicative of a change needed to be made. I'm tempted to... I don't really like having two advanced forwards, but that's basically the main role. But I don't really want to have Yeboah on a complete forward because he's going to drop too deep. So I think I'm going to leave them both like that for now. And as usual, we might make a change in about 15 minutes or so. Okay, we're starting this half off with a Bishop's Cleeve corner. Rankin gets it in, but Forshaw gets it away. Chucky gets it back to Rankin. This is looking a lot more dangerous, and he just powers it in the top corner across the goal. That was, I want to say, unstoppable. I don't know for certain. I'll have to see again exactly what Tommy Jackson was doing here. So he runs in, powers it in. Tommy Jackson does a David De Gea and just instantly drops to the floor and tries to save it with his feet, and it does not pay off. Going more positive. I didn't actually realise when I set this formation up that we were only on balance, so I think positive might help. I don't want to go attacking just yet. We're going to demand more from the players. Generally good reaction. Tommy Barrell's furious with me. Tadefe loses the ball to S. But Forshaw now. Ratchford, Helliwell, can he get a ball over here? No. It does put Yeboah through. Yeboah finds Lusaqueno, he can, and Lusaqueno slots it past the keeper. Very casual finish, basically the first thing he's done all match. But he scored. Beautiful little pass there from Helliwell, and then very patient playmaking, I suppose, from Yeboah. But it was a great pass and a great finish. With a long ball over, let's just not throw this lead away straight away. I might make a substitution after this highlight. Just to, could you? That was a little bit scary. Helliwell. Lusaqueno's making a run, but the ball hasn't gone to him. But it does go to Yeboah. Are we going to get a mirror of the last goal again? He tries to pass, but he tried it a little bit too late. He gives the defenders time to get back. Staffs. Oh, Burnett's through, and Jackson channels the good side of David De Gea that time and makes a great save with his knee. Oh, what was that tackle, Ratchford? That was so stupid. That's a straight red. There was no need for... I mean, he was probably going to shoot, yes, but there was no need to just lunge in like that. I'm going to have to take a striker off now for this, really. Lusaqueno's had a good second half, but Yeboah is on a booking, so I'm going to have to make two subs, actually, probably. Helliwell for Ramsey, because Helliwell is just on his last legs, very poor conditioning, and he's had a decent game. And then we'll get takeoff. Yeah, I'm going to risk going down to 9 men and take off Matty Lusaqueno. Bring on Matt Regan. He can come back here, play as a centre midfielder on defend, I'm going to go with. Rami as a deep line playmaker. So we have got enough people back to deal with any attacks. And I do quite like Waldo as an inside forward. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. Just see how this happens. Now we have got to try and come back from this with 10 men, yeah. Tommy Jackson makes no effort whatsoever to try and save that. He takes one step the wrong way and just pivots 90 degrees watching the ball roll into the net. Maybe this new formation was not the genius brainwave that I've had. 137 people here. Attendances are definitely going up comfortably in this division. Rami now. Can he get the ball to Yeboah? No. Barrett. Button Forshaw. Looks for a pass over. He gets on the end of S. Gets on the end of it, and he's hit the inside of the post. Ah, but it does come back to Rami. Can we make another chance out of this? Apparently not. Brilliant. It's obviously very annoying to draw your first game of the season, but also, do you want to throw away a point against a much worse division, against a much worse opponent when you've only got 10 men on the pitch? Well, we've got a highlight, so we'll see what happens from this. Okay, falls to Yeboah up. He gets tackled. Ball over. There's no way that defender's not getting that ball first. Only gets it out as far as Soganil. That was. Tadefe gets it in the middle, and head is just over. That could have been terrible for us. Jackson with a big kick. Falls to Waldo. Chips over. That's miles offside. Doesn't even score it, but that's quite a frustrating run he's made there. Absolutely nowhere near the ball. We're going to go more direct and just see if we can lump it long in the last few minutes. Try and attack him? No? Looks like we're drawing this one. Oh, so quite a disappointing start to the season, actually. I definitely would have expected us to win that comfortably. So yeah, there might have been a tactical misplay or two in that game. We're just going to have to wait and see how the season pans out. I have still got faith in my tactic. I might just have to tweak it a little bit because it was definitely creating quite a few chances in that game, but something wasn't quite clicking there. So looking at the schedule, I'm going to change how I do things at the start of each season, I think. We will probably go forward quite a few months in this first episode. Basically, the first 2 seasons of this season have taken 18 episodes. If I sort of math that out going up, until, I don't know, like the release of Football Manager 2024, when obviously this will finish and we'll probably start a new save on the new game. If each 2 seasons take me 18 episodes, it's going to take me best part of 100 episodes to get to the Premier League if we get straight promotions every time, which is highly unlikely. So we're probably going to get caught up in leagues a few times along the way, I'm going to say. So that's, even if things go pretty much as well as they could have done, I would imagine it's going to take probably 15, 16 seasons to even have a good chance of getting up there if things are managed well and we don't, fall victim to our financial crisis. So I definitely want to trim down the seasons so they're not, like the last one was 12 episodes long, which is a little bit too long. So I think what I'm going to do is I don't think we're going to have a problem in the preliminary round of the FA Cup. If we have a cup game that looks like it's going to be quite tough for us, we might come back for that. So it depends. If we did happen to lose against Market Drayton, fair enough, we're just a bad team. But I think if we go forward until we either get a cup opponent that's going to be absolutely insane for us, or somewhere around maybe October, November, get quite a few games done just to try and get through some of this season as quick as possible. We've got a match against Harborough there, which will probably be quite tough, but I don't really want to come back that early. So yeah, what I have to say, I've got no idea where we're going to be coming back. It could be, in 3 or 4 cup rounds, we end up getting matched up against, I don't know, a Vanarama national side, and in which case I'd probably be coming back for that. But it could also be we get a relatively easy run and I end up coming back, sometime not long before Christmas. We're going to get through a good chunk of the season, and then, the big matches coming up towards the end, we're going to be able to identify much clearer there which ones the hard matches are. So yeah, I've definitely got quite a lot to get through, so I'm going to leave this here. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or a comment down below. It really does help out a great deal, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. Maybe take a guess about where exactly you think we're going to be when we come back, because, like I said, there could be 10 games gone by, there could be 20 games might be a push, but we'll have to see. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.